Alright, so let's talk about Fairy Tail 100 Year, I was gonna say 100 Year War Arc, 100 Year Quest Arc. I'm enjoying it so far. We're, what, 6 or 7 chapters in so far up to this video that I've made. It's definitely more of Fairy Tail. I gotta say, about Fairy Tail, I enjoy it quite a bit. I know it's got a lot of faults to it, but I think even with those faults, I can see some light in it. Obviously, the last arc of the main story ended a little bit in a weird way that not everybody was super happy about. And I gotta admit, me myself, I kind of wish that there were some things that did go differently, like as far as Makarov. Not that I don't love Makarov, I love Makarov, but I think it definitely softened the urgency of what was going on, and then the whole thing with Mavis and Zareth, I didn't think that it went the way it should have. It could have all ended similar to how it did, but I just think that maybe there was a better way. These are my thoughts on that. I don't want to get too far into that, because that's in the past. On to the 100-Year Quest arc. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I think how my mind is going into this is I'm here to enjoy it. It is what it is. I'm not gonna give it too much shit, but at the same time, I'm not gonna let it get away with too much. I just want to enjoy it. Fairy Tail overall is a very fun and relaxing story, and I think overall it's just meant to be more fun. And obviously, that's what this is. It's just whoever likes Fairy Tail, 100-Year Quest arc going on. Now, as far as the 100-Year Quest goes, first of all, there were 5 dragons that nobody knew about. Obviously, they're dragons from across the world, across the globe, and obviously, for the Fairy Tail story, it's all centered around Fiore and basically Fairy Tail Guild, so obviously, it's a big world. There's a lot going on. Maybe these dragons were just so secret that, like, they were just off doing their own thing. Who knows? I honestly think that maybe they could have explained it a little bit better as to why these dragons were so secret and so off on their own. Why didn't they, like, even if they didn't give a crap about what was going on with the whole Zareth thing and Acnologia thing, why in the world did they not come up in any capacity whatsoever? Even if they are secret, like, at least, like, if you know you're going to have this kind of story coming on after Fairy Tail, why have these super powerful pentadragons, like, suddenly just appear? Why wouldn't they be something that, like, at the very least, like, oh, Acnologia brings it up, or you know what, because, Guildarts did this quest, and obviously came back after getting messed up by Acnologia, and obviously it's supposed to be a secret, so he can't tell anybody what's going on with it, and obviously now the main crew can't do that either, but at least have a panel or two being like, well, I failed that quest, there's some stuff going on here, whatever, at least something to allude to it, even if it's not like the biggest like hint or tease or whatever, something that we could come back from this and be like, oh, Guildarts was talking about that. Obviously not so much. Now, as far as the current events go, it's more fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. Obviously, they're fighting. I'm not going to remember any of the names, so don't even... I'm not even going to try to go over names. But you got, as far as enemies go now, Lucy and Natsu and Gray and Urza and Wendy and... Carla and Happy are all facing these new dragon slayers that suddenly appeared, also similar to the dragons, which I'll get to in a second. But let's focus on these new dragon slayers. So one is a slasher, or I think it's slasher or something. It's a slicing dragon slayer, whatever. And one is an armor dragon slayer. So 2 things come to mind. One, how are there dragon slayers that don't, like, what defines a dragon ability? So far they've all been elements to some degree, or in some capacity, even if they're not like physical elements, like steel or I guess technically fire is a physical element, but like with like Rogue and God, I'm gonna forget his name. Sting. With Rogue and Sting, they're more of a light element and a shadow element, so it's a little bit more hard to, intangible, but it's still something that you can mentally like figure like, oh, okay, that's a thing. How do you like? What does this girl eat to power up her? I mean, other than other dragons, like other than eating another physical animal. What powers her? Where Natsu eats fire, Gajeel eats steel, Wendy eats air. So what exactly does she eat other than obviously other dragons to put fire in her belly? And then you got the armor guy. And the armor guy is a little bit more in that, but he's also sort of similar to like armor in what capacity? That's another, it's a little bit more physical, but it also is a little bit more, I don't know, intangible in itself, because like a lot of things could be armor. Physical barriers, magical barriers, steel is often what armor is made out of. So does he eat like armor? Like just like, does it have to be in the shape of armor in order for him to eat it and have like a magical boost or something? So the new Dragon Slayers, what is it, fifth generation, I think, in which they eat other dragons. And I don't know, it's a weird concept, and I think they need to flesh it out and explain it before we can get a full idea of what exactly it means. So far, I'm enjoying it. I have a couple of nitpicks. Not nitpicks, I think these are pretty big things. So first of all, it's fairy tale, so more boobs. More boobs. It's anime in general is like that, but fairy tale's a huge offender, and it's just I can't get through a fairy tale chapter without it slapping me in the face. They did it nearly twice in this last chapter, 7, I think, when Lucy's fighting this dragon slayer chick, and she gets her clothes sliced off. Like, a bit much. It's a bit much, and I think maybe they need to ease away from that. I mean, I guess that's both things together. They're both kind of similar. But yeah, that's the biggest part of my problem, is just the weird, out-of-place nudity and giant. I won't get into it any further, but a little much. Otherwise, I'm enjoying this. We're learning. Oh, I guess the second thing would be just what I've already talked about with the dragons and how they're suddenly appearing. I do find it interesting, though. The dragons seem to be humans? Or... Here, okay, so I'm going to throw out an idea that just popped into my head. What if, so dragon slayers are humans that learn dragon magic and then could turn into dragons if their power kind of overtakes them, like Agnologia. Or like, I guess, technically the old man from the beginning of the arc. But what if these pentadragons are dragons that learned magic, human magic or something like that, and it's the other way around? So he is a dragon person, so it's not that he's always a human that can turn into a dragon, or like I don't think that they're dragon slayers. I think that they may be like just straight up dragons that can turn into humans so that they can kind of hide themselves. And maybe that's the reason why they've been holed up so well and hidden away without anybody knowing, because they built these like communities. Obviously, this water dragon god guy has an entire town that loves him, and they won't talk about him, and they lock people up if they even think about talking about them. And so I think maybe it's that kind of thing where it's like these dragons, they went missing long time ago. Nobody remembers except for this like old original dragon guy, and the only thing that like keeps them hidden is the fact that they can turn into humans, and then that way they can basically hide in plain sight. Although they look, if this water god dragon guy is any indication of what they look like, they all have giant horns and like tattoos and stuff like that. It's a little hard to miss, but I guess there's a lot of weird characters in Fairy Tail. But yeah, so far I'm enjoying this. I'm trying to keep a lightheartedness to it because it's obviously very easy to attack Fairy Tail for all of its flaws. But overall, I'm enjoying this. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with this dragon guy. and what dragon slayers, they have a whole clan, a whole guild of them. I find it really interesting that they are going to other countries, not just around their own continent, but in different continents and different areas of the world, and seeing how different it is in those other parts of the world. So that's an interesting thing. I always thought that, like, Fiore and whatever the continent Fiore's in, and then Zareth's country, whatever. I'm not even going to attempt to remember. Alvarez or something like that. I always thought those were the big two land masses, and then maybe just smaller countries here and there, but nothing too interesting. But it seems like the world is much bigger than they let on. So I think that'll be an interesting thing to explore. I hope they do it well in this. I hope they explain why Dragon Slayers that... I hope they explain the 5th generation Dragon Slayers a little bit more, because it seems a little bit... their powers are a bit more abstract, and that's a little bit weird and hard to kind of wrap my brain around. My light is going a little weird. Anyways, I guess those are my thoughts so far on the Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest. This one's a little bit jumpy around because I just, I need to catch up and give me my thoughts a bit general. I will see you guys later in hopefully another video. I hope you guys have an awesome day, week, month, year. I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.